So I'd like to tell you about something that happened this week, which gave me the idea for this video. And what the idea for the video is, I want to talk about the importance that I think of staying on course of what you've decided to do with the genre of photography you're doing, and not be sidetracked by the lure of money or trying to be nice to people and that type of thing. And also draw upon some of my past business experience as well. I think it might be interesting for some people. But if you are new to the channel, my name's Richard. I'm a full-time boudoir photographer and headshot photographer. We own the studio together, me and my wife. Our studio turns over multiple six figures per annum. I make these videos because I really enjoy talking about the business of photography. So just a really quick bit of backstory to explain. We do specialise in boudoirs, probably 80% of what we do. And we probably do 20% of portraits and corporate headshots and things like that. So that's where we're at. And we don't sort of really do anything else anymore. I made that decision about 3 years ago now, and I'll explain why in a minute. So what gave me the idea for this video was this email came in. I'll just explain to you what's going on here. It was a book that I made about 3 months ago, I reckon, and it was from a couple that I photographed years ago for an engagement. No, actually, it was for a couple shoot that I did years ago. And they came in, and since then things have gotten serious. They're engaged and they're having a baby and all that type of thing. And they wanted to do a maternity shoot. And they wanted to do it like in the style of boudoir. So something a little bit more interesting than I guess than just going and getting photos on the beach or something like that. So that's what they wanted. And then so that was all good. This was all booked in. It was all booked in months ago. They paid their deposit and everything was cool. And then I got this email, which I'll read to you now. And it says, "Hi Richard. Just touching base in regards to our maternity photo shoot that's booked in early July. As discussed previously, could we please reschedule the photo shoot to be newborn photos if possible? The reason being is my sister has booked and paid for a photo shoot for us. Sorry for the inconvenience. Look forward to hearing from you." Just to explain that we haven't actually discussed it before, that what we had been discussing before was a reschedule of time due to our hair and makeup artist. That's what she's talking about there. So a couple of things going on here. As she obviously said, her sister got this other photographer. And so my options here were one of two things. I can either say, no, I don't want to do that. Or I can say, that's fine, I'll do the baby shoot. But here's the problem. I don't do baby shoots. I don't like doing baby shoots. I really dislike photographing children in general, and I'm not very good at it. But the problem is, well not the problem, but I guess where you can kind of talk yourself into doing things like this is, in this case, I've already got a deposit. I've already quoted her, I think from memory, $1,800 or $2,200 for wall art. I can't remember the exact amount, but something like that. So pretty much a $2,000 sale guaranteed, because it's a repeat client and I've quoted them and we've all agreed on it and everything like that. So what do? So you either do the baby shoot or you say, no, I'm not going to do it. And so this is how I apply it. And reading this back, it sounds a bit blunt. I should have run this through ChatGTP or something like that to get a bit of warmth. But I think I did it in the morning from memory. But anyway, I go on to say, "Morning, Paige. Thanks for your email. I do not photograph newborns. It's something that, in my opinion, is difficult to do well. I've done it in the past and I do not think I do it well," which is the complete truth. I'm terrible at baby photography. "I'm more than happy to refund you that deposit of $150 you paid, or if you like, leave it open and we can schedule something else later on once things have settled down. Smiley face. Honestly, zero stress either way, whatever works for you best." And I mean that. I don't want to get into a whole thing. I'm happy to give them a refund and everything like that. So I won't continue reading emails, but what ended up happening was she ended up getting back in contact with me a few days after that email, and she said, but basically her words were, this other photographer that their sister had organised was giving her the shits, that were her words, and giving them a run around, and I'm not sure what all that means, but anyway, it wasn't working out. And they said, "Can we please keep the shoot?" And I said, "Of course, no problem at all." So in this particular instance, it all worked out. I mean, I honestly thought though in this instance that it was going to go south. I think I was going to lose a booking. So why would I tear up essentially $2,000 for the sake of not doing something I don't want to do? Because I get it. If you're watching this and you think I'm a pretentious idiot because I don't want to do work I want to do, that's not really the case. That's actually a decision that's quite strategic. And let me talk a little bit about my past experience with this, if that's okay. And that is when I used to own, I've talked about this in the past, when we owned a computer company. Okay. The smartest thing I did when I opened that computer company back in '01, I think it was, I made a conscious decision back then only to deal business to business. Okay, meaning I wasn't going to, because back then computers didn't work very well, and there was quite a big market for people who were halfway competent to go to people's homes and fix their computers that had viruses or hook their printers up or fix their modems or whatever the case may be. Okay, but I made a very conscious decision not to do that because I knew that if I did that, it would distract me from my mission, which was doing business to business work. And what I found was that as time went by, the inevitable happened. The people who own these businesses that I serve, these law firms and accounting firms and medical firms and things like that, the owners and the CEOs of those companies would ring me and say, oh, look, I've got this problem with my home computer. I know you don't normally do home computer work. Look, we're happy to pay you the full rates, no problem. We just want the thing fixed. And of course, I would say yes, because they own these companies, are the one who paid the bills. And invariably, these were always the ones that gave me problems. And these were always the ones that sucked up my time and gave me aggravation. I wish I'd never touched them, but I kind of had no choice. But like I said, that were the ones that gave me the problem. That you'd go there, you'd stuff around, you'd fix it, you get it all cleaned up if it had a virus or something like that, because kids had been looking at porn or something like that on it. Then 2 days later you get a call, oh, it's doing it again, because the fucking kids have been watching porn again and all this sort of stuff and blah, blah, blah. And that would cause you all the problems. And that's what I mean by staying on course. Like, if I kind of got sidetracked into the domestic market there is no way I would have built that company up to what it was, gone on to sell it for quite a lot of money. So now let me bring this back round to photography, and I'll explain what I'm going on there. And again, let me just reiterate this. Like, I understand that if you're starting out, you know, if you're watching this channel, there's a strong chance that you're starting out or you're trying to get business ideas. I get it. And you might be looking and going, well, I would take that work, and I wouldn't blame you for taking that work either, by the way. Honestly, I get it. In the early days, you've got to pay the bills, you've got to take what you can get and do whatever you can to get it. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's what you've got to do. I 100% get it. But as you get better at this, in the sense of the business, not the photography, but as you get better at business and you develop your business more and more, you know, you might decide, you know, you don't want to do passport photos or baby photos in my case, or kid photos or whatever the case may be. And so you've got to, you know, after you've made that decision, the hard bit can be to stick to it, because even though, I mean, I really liked this couple and it was hard for me to knock them back. But here's the thing. I know that if I had accepted that work, because I don't do baby photography and because I'm not very good at it, like, and I mean that really seriously. I mean, some people say it's easy. I think it's hard to make that look good. And I haven't got the patience for kids either. I don't really like other people's kids. So there's that. But I know what would have happened. We would have got closer and closer. I would have started worrying about it. I would have been thinking about it. I would have been distracted because we're really busy at the moment. You know what I mean? So I would have put all this extra effort in. I would have had to go and learn new things. I would have been worried about sets and this, that, and the other. And I reckon that, you know, I could have done like 3 boudoir shoots and 10 headshot shoots in the time I could have done that one, in terms of the mental, in terms of the mental effort that I would have put into it, because I'm not super familiar with it. So that's sort of what I mean by staying the course. And I think also that if you do make a decision to stick to one genre, like, I mean, a lot of wedding photographers are like this. They will only do weddings, and I think that's really smart. You know, so rather than your website having weddings and boudoir and this and that and newborns and kids and, you know, food photography and everything else known to man, I think if you stick to the one thing, it does give you a lot of authority on the subject. You sort of perceived it as an expert, and I think you can charge more. And again, this is just my opinion, and I've heard leading educators in this industry advise strongly against specialising, but I think there really is something to be said for niching down. And I get that it's not for everyone, and that's just something that we've chosen to do. And it's actually something I would like to do another video on at some point. I think it'd be a good subject for a video. But anyway, in this case, it all worked out. But they're the reasons why. They're the reasons why I think it's important to stick to what your goals are and what you're trying to work towards. I think that if you get involved in other things, that they're just pure distractions. Like just before I finish up, I had another instance this week where I had a guy from Melbourne contact me about subcontracting for headshots, which I declined that one as well because of the distractions that would have. I'm definitely going to make another video on that one, because actually it's quite an interesting discussion about subcontracting if you've never done it before. So it might be interesting to some people. But anyway, there you go. So look, something that's been on my mind. I felt it was worth talking about. I hope you got something out of it. You know, if you did get something out of it, I'd love you to like and comment on the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd really love you if you would subscribe. Apparently those two things really help the YouTube algorithm. But I really appreciate you watching. Thank you again. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you again.